Yo, 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 what up, friends? Back again. Omar Fonseca from Ball and Bud Sports and Entertainment on YouTube at Ball and Buds, BALLANDBUDS, and your Let's Talk Sports Las Vegas Raiders insider with your 2023 Las Vegas Raiders NFL Draft recap. Let's get it. Shout out to Let's Talk Sports, DDH, and the crew. What happened in the Raiders draft? Well, the Raiders had a huge draft going in with 12 picks in total after some multiple trades by Ziegler, Dwayne Joseph, and McDaniels. They came away with 9 picks in total. My personal grade overall for the draft is a B minus. I thought that they did well in picking up players that are going to be depth and role pieces. I would have liked at least another guaranteed starter. Let's get right into it. What happened? The Raiders had pick number 7. A lot of things fell their way, right? Jalen Carter fell, as we expected, and he was there. Christian Gonzalez was there after my pick, Devin Witherspoon, had been picked by the Lions directly before. You also had Will Levis in a free fall, who was also available there. Apparently, medical concerns came up late about a toe injury or that may need surgery, or a foot injury that may need surgery, so that may have been why. Obviously, Jalen Carter we couldn't do for the reasons I told you in the preview, and as you know, the Henry Ruggs incident, that's not going to play well to pick someone who has a risk. So that was pretty much off the board too. So my only other way they should have gone was Christian Gonzalez, because I thought he was a day one starter at cornerback that we are desperately in need of. That being said, I was on the live draft coverage for Let's Talk Sports. Shout out DDH and the crew. Thank you for the invite. Great show. Looking forward to next year. That being said, on the live show when our pick was up, I said I personally would select Christian Gonzalez, but knowing my Raiders, they're going to select Tyree Wilson. Why did I say that? Because I know my Raiders. I've been a Raiders fan for over 35 years. I'm an insider. I know the team like the back of my hand. I knew when that came up, I was like, they're not going to do the sensible thing and take Christian Gonzalez, who is a lockdown corner, versatile, can play in any sort of scheme, right? He was there for the taking. He was there to, shore up the cornerback position, since we don't actually have a number one, so to say. We got a bunch of number 2s and 3s. Anyways, needless to say, I knew they were going to pick Tyree Wilson. High upside, obviously at that position, at that selection of number 7. Pass rushers take a higher priority than cornerbacks, right? We all know that. Pass rushers, quarterbacks, even an offensive lineman take priority over cornerbacks. So while I would have gone the other way, I do understand why they went Tyree Wilson, and I did say that's what they were going to do. So, hey, they picked him. He is high upside, but he has a fractured foot in November that still has not healed. He did not work out in the combine, and he did not have a pro day. So the Raiders are going in blind just off of his tape. I shouldn't say blind. They have his tape, but without those things recently, what do we really know? As Raider fans, we know the last time a major foot injury was coming up was Darren McFadden when he had the Liz Frank injury that completely ended his Raiders career, that's for sure. That being said, right, this is a little bit of worrisome. I'm really hoping and praying that it will be fine, that it will be healed, and he will be able to be a huge contributor, because the Raiders surely do need it. The Raiders last year were ranked number 28 in defense and only had 27 sacks, third worst in the NFL. The pass rush of Max Crosby, who is obviously one of, if not our best player on the team, along with Devontae Adams, obviously, and Chandler Wilson, and Chandler Jones, who had a subpar season for his expectations and for ours. Wilson is coming up off of a couple 7-sack seasons. He's big, he's long, he's strong. He plays with explosion. He's very quick to get around the tackles, long wingspan, good chase effort. We know for edge rushers, right, it's all about the physicality, the traits and tools. He has all of that. So we'll see if he heals enough to help us, because Chandler Jones turns 33 this year, and we can save $12.2 million next offseason by releasing him. And if he has another season like last year, that will be the case. Hopefully not. Hopefully we see the old Chandler Jones. That being said, Tyree Wilson is coming in. He's going to be a rotational lineman to start. Obviously, he's not going to start over Crosby or Jones, but a lot of people have compared him to Chandler Jones, so he can learn at the foot, or whatever you want to call it, of him and Crosby, and that would be great, because obviously Chandler Jones is a future Hall of Famer. So this hopefully will turn us into a fearsome pass rush, which is what Ziegler and McDaniels and Joseph were hoping for. But in his 10 games last year, he did have 61 tackles, 14 for loss. He lined up as a traditional edge rusher and sometimes rotated inside. As we know, Patrick Graham likes to switch from a 4-3 to a 3-4, so this will allow Tyree Wilson to be used in multiple spots along the line. My personal grade for this is a B+. While I would have gone with Christian Gonzalez, I completely understand why they went with Tyree Wilson, which is why I said that's who they were going to pick, even though it's not who I would have picked. I knew that's who they would pick, because that's just what the Raiders do. This is our MO. Were some other very smart picks in this draft. The next pick, home run, Michael Mayer, who tight end from Notre Dame, should have been drafted in the first round, was not. He is going to be awesome. He is 6'4", 6'5", 250. Body control, good route running, precision route running. Ball catching skills at the top, at the point of the target. He's a huge target, so Jimmy Garoppolo can use him as his safety valve, right? He's big, but he's still fluid. He can still, they even say reminds a little bit of a Jason Witten, but faster. Some say even maybe a Rob Gronkowski, but just not as good, although we won't know that yet. Some even said a Dave Casper. I'm not willing to talk about the ghost like that. That's blasphemous. But Michael Mayer, I hope you do, because I am looking forward to you playing. This is an A pick right here. Overall, once he becomes more consistent with his blocking and execution, he's going to be really great and a starting talent. Remember, Austin Hooper and O.J. Howard are only signed for a year, so he could be a starter immediately, sometime even this season, or definitely next year for sure. The third pick, or 2 picks in the third round rather, Bryon Young, defensive tackle from Alabama. I like this pick. I give this pick a B-. I think he's a little undersized, but I really think that he's going to be good because he's smart. And he's very sound on the run defense. He's going to be inside. He's going to be stuffing up the line, right? He still needs to work on his pass rush and explosiveness. Once he gets to the league and gets in that weight room and gets that league training on the weight room, he is going to be good. But we know that at least he knows, he's very aware, has good skill, and is scheme diverse, and will be a very good rotational player for us. So far, right, in the first 3 rounds, and I'll get to the second, third round pick in a second, though, we have 1 to 2 potential starters and a rotational player. Good start so far. The second pick of the third round, I am iffy on. Trey Tucker. Great player, sure. Speedy, very good kick returner, punt returner, good in the slot, right? Awesome. Did we really need that, right? We have Hunter Renfrow. We have Jacoby Myers. We have, all these other smaller receivers we signed in the offseason. It's starting to get a little redundant now. Now, does that mean Hunter Renfrow gets traded? Well, they have been trading everybody else from the old regime. I don't know why I just did that Joe Biden whisper there. They've been trading everybody from the old regime, which makes you think they're not going to trade Hunter. He gone. I love you, Hunter. I wish you didn't have to leave, but I can't see them keeping anybody that was drafted by Gruden or Mayock or anything brought on free agency even. That being said, too early to pick him here. He was still, mocked to be picked a round or two later. So we probably could have waited unless they got some intel, which I haven't heard anything, that someone was going to pick him up there. I would have waited and risked not getting him since we already have players that can do what he can do. That being said, young player, hopefully he brings his speed aboard and is able to make a difference. We have not had a good kick punt returner in a long, long time, so we'll see. But other than that, he's a very small player, so he's going to have to play in the slot if he is going to play at receiver. I give that a C minus, a D plus. I just can't. I hope I'm wrong. I really do, but I just can't see it with that pick. Round 4, we picked the quarterback of the future, Aidan O'Connell. Again, I called this. If you go back to my pre-draft video, I said that we would pick a quarterback in the late rounds, and we were looking at Hendon Hooker or Aidan O'Connell. Hendon Hooker was already gone, so they chose Aidan O'Connell. Is it who I would have gone with? Again, no. I would have gone with Jake Hayner out of Fresno State. The couple other quarterbacks were there that, Clayton Tune from Houston, I even would have gone with. But I knew they would pick Aidan O'Connell because he is the type of quarterback that Josh McDaniels loves, right? Brady is a pocket passer. Garoppolo, pocket passer. McDaniels likes working with pocket passers, and even though we know that they have gone the way of the fossil, right? That kind of quarterback is old school now, right? He's great. He can stay tough in the pocket. He can avoid some defenders. He can see the field well. He can deliver the ball. He can anticipate and lead receivers. These passers are not what the league is going for anymore. Look at who's been signed lately. Lamar Jackson, Jalen Hurts, Josh Allen, Patrick Mahomes, all of these different quarterbacks that are all mobile quarterbacks. Right? What do you think, Raiders fans? I just can't see it. I can't see him being more than a solid backup in the league, possibly spot starter. Maybe he starts for a year or two before they find out he's not that dude. But I cannot see Aidan O'Connell being the QB of the future for the Raiders and a long-time starter in the league. Raiders fans, what do you think? Do you agree with me, or do you want to argue? Hit me up in the comments. Let me know what you think. Do you think he's the QB of the future for the Raiders, or do you think he's just another backup and we're going to have to draft another QB or sign or trade for a QB later? Raiders fans, let me know what you think in the comments. That being said, the last 4 players in the draft were all defensive. First one, shout out my alma mater, the University of Maryland. Go Terrapins. Let's go Terps. All right, Testudo. Shout out Jakorian Bennett, my brother. And shout out the Robert H. Smith School of Business, where I graduated from. Holla at your boy. Jakorian Bennett, Christopher Smith, safety out of Georgia, and Amari Burney, linebacker out of Florida. All 3 aggressive, defensive, speed players. Jakorian Bennett, Christopher Smith, both ball hawks. And then the final pick, a defensive tackle, Nesta, Jade, Slivera out of Arizona State. Another run-stuffing tackle similar to Byron Young. So I give that A for Jakorian Bennett, not being biased. Shout out Terps. A B plus for Christopher Smith. A B minus for Amari Burney. And then C plus, B minus. C plus for Nesta, Jade, Silvera. Will be nice. B minus. That being said, overall draft, a B minus for the Raiders. Director of Pro Scouting, Dwayne Joseph, GM Dave Ziegler, and head coach Josh McDaniels. For their first real draft, since they didn't have a first and second round last year, I think they did a good job. I think a B minus. I think they got 2 future starters and 5 rotational role players. Whereas before in the preview, if you remember, I said I think they needed to get 3 starters and 4 rotational role players. So, hey, they did a good job, and we will see going forward. Hopefully, there are a few more starters than I see, and hopefully Aidan O'Connell turns out to be something. What do you give this grade for the Raiders, for this draft, Raiders fans? Hit me up in the comment. Let me know your grades. Let me know what you think. Let me know what you think about my analysis, and I'll argue with you all day. Let's go, suckers. What you want? Holla at your boy. This is Omar Fonseca, a.k.a. the Street Professor, host of Ball and Bud Sports and Entertainment at BALLANDBUDS on YouTube. Go subscribe to the channel or hit that subscribe button or whatever the kids say, smash, or I don't know what they say. And also, hit up Let's Talk Sports on YouTube. Follow that channel. Shout out to DDH and the crew. Thank you for having me this year, boys. The draft coverage was great, and I can't wait until again next year. So, Raiders fans, until the next time, again, it is your boy, Omar Fonseca, a.k.a. the Street Professor, your Las Vegas Raiders insider. For Let's Talk Sports, for Ball and Bud Sports and Entertainment, I'm signing out. Till next time, Raiders fans, peace, love, stay up. Holla 5,000.